Good afternoon, all. Paul from CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, November 20th. We're looking at Window Traders market profile of the ES and the NQ. Well, I had a doctor's appointment earlier today, so I missed this whole move in D and C. I didn't get back to, I forgot when I got back. I think I got back in F. I'll be honest with you, which I don't think many people are on social media. I'm probably glad I did miss it because I'm sure I probably would have bought the gap fill in NQ, at least the first try. Now, hopefully, I don't know if I would have made anything on it. I know we really ripped down hard in D and E, so I don't know if I would have made anything or got caught and lost. I would hope, though, whether I bought it or not, I absolutely, after that, would have flipped to the short side then once the market was showing that incredible strength and volume. So to put things into context, today's range is the fifth largest of the year. And we've had tremendous ranges this year. Almost $24 in ES. Almost 30 in NQ. Our volume right now is 150-something million. Remember, we had volumes of over 200 million this year. It's still the seventh highest of the year right now. It could be the sixth after the overnight. Now again, is this long-term money selling it? No, I don't believe so. I just believe the market, for whatever reason, right? You got the NVIDIA earnings. You had non-farm payroll come out. We gap higher. Remember, these were decent-sized gaps, okay? We went from decent-sized gaps to huge single-print trend day down. These are two large sets of single prints here. What sparked it? Market got too long? I always say the market will do what it wants to do when it wants to do it. I don't use headlines. I don't use anything. I came back to the trading room and saw where we were trading. I was like, and I was ready to get bombarded by, a bunch of headlines that people said this is why we went down. Well, there were crickets on that. So what did that tell you? Hey, the market did what it wanted to do when it wanted to do it. There's no rhyme or reason, especially when you trade against short-term players. Now look, when you open up with gap, value, and indices in your favor, and it's a decent-sized gap, that's a pretty good edge. Now throw on top of that, we got the overnight highs. Now get on top of that, we got the IB highs. So now you had those two, you raised POC, the Bulls had a 6-0 lead in C period. Now I left prior to D. Now leaving with a 6-0 lead with the Bulls, with everything in their favor, there is no way in the world I would have expected what transpired from D period on. Now I'm sure you're going to get people, again, I try to be as honest as possible with you guys and gals. I'm sure there'll be people all over social media saying, I knew this, all garbage, okay? Right? At the time, the market was telling you to look for longs. Now, we did go back and forth through the opening, the first three time frames. That was a little nuance. But even that nuance was not going to tell you we're going to turn what the Bulls had early into what the Bears ended up winning today. No way in hell was that showing you that. Okay? There's not going to be a video tomorrow night. I'm leaving early. I'm leaving around noon for the day. So I'm going to go over some quick things today on the chart since I won't be here. Let's go over first what happened. Righty ends. By the way, Righty has a poor high. This is a weekly high for Righty, and it's poor right now. A double distribution day and a price probe. Now remember, when we took out yesterday's highs, the daily went up. We're back in balance. What's the balance? Well, it's really all of today, the high and the low, but it does encompass the last 4 trading days, really. So really, you can call it a 5-day balance. And that goes for all three of us, even though the balance is today's high and low. We also had, in all three of these, an outside day down. So do we get follow-through tomorrow? We'll see. You have options expiration tomorrow. You got a lot of big things out next week. We got CPI, we have PCE. So for a short week, you got a lot out next week also. NQ goes out with a double distribution day, large singles, and a price probe. Again, unless we gap over these singles, you're not going to fill them without a trend day up at some point. Also an outside day down. They also got their maintenance low from October. However, they're probably going to put in a new overnight maintenance low right now in November. ES goes out, double distribution day, and a price probe, and an outside day down. So all three of us, our balance. So if we take out today's low tomorrow morning, the daily is right back to down. So you would have went down, balance yesterday, up this morning, back to balance this afternoon, late morning to the afternoon. Same with NQ. So your balance high and low is today's highs and low for all three of these indices. The other thing, ES finally put the monthly officially back to balance. I'm going to have to look at SPY and Qs. I'm sure they did too. But remember, they were not. They were further away, but I believe they did. I'll look in a minute when we do the charts. What we didn't get in ES, though, is October's maintenance low from October 10th, from the tariff debacle, right? So we haven't gotten that. So you could potentially make a new maintenance low or overnight low in November and still have October's still there, which I would keep until we got in regular trading hours. Now, I did have a good day early. Obviously, in the morning, it was from the long side. I got my staple plays, right? I got the overnight high. No, actually, I take that back. Did I miss the yeah, I missed the overnight high in NQ, but I did very well on ebb and flow longs in A period. In B period, I got A's high and ebb and flow longs. In C period, I got the IB high and ebb and flow longs until it kept pushing back towards and it got the open. I said, okay, that's over for now. And then I had to leave anyway. Now, by the time I got back, I had to get my act together. When you see a market, it's hard enough when you're here and you see a market flip like that. But when you're gone for 2 hours and you go from total bull to total bear, you got to get your bearings a little bit. Plus, I was hungry. so I ate my lunch, and then I started shorting in H, in J, in K, and I just shorted, ebb and flow shorts through in the afternoon. Nothing crazy. Actually went, and that was not in my personal account. It was in my different prop accounts. And I actually went to MNQ at one point also, just so I could try to stay in them a little longer because the way they were moving was quite fascinating. So let's go to the charts since I won't be here tomorrow night to break these down, see what's happening here. So we finally took it. Did SPY take it out? Just give me 1 second. They did. Okay. We're officially a 2-month balance to start in the ES. But we don't know how big the balance will be because we still have tomorrow and next week. If we don't go much lower, it might be a 2-month balance. If we do get good acceptance below last month, we might make it 3. Let's do it this way. We'll go all monthlies and then all weeklies. Now look at NQ. 2-month balance for now. But if we get more extension, we'll probably name it at least 3. Again, right now it's balance. IWM. They're a 3-month balance already. So if they go even lower, we can make it a 4 or 5-month balance. So right now the monthlies are balance. Okay? How big the balances will be determined by next Friday's close. Let's go to the weeklies. Now we'll stay here and we'll go to the weekly in IWM first. The weekly is down. Okay? The weekly is one time framing down 3 weeks in IWM. The weekly is down in NQ. One time framing down 3 weeks. The weekly is down finally in ES this week. Remember, we had the inside week last week. The inside week down has paid. They didn't pay much on Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and after this morning, paid handsomely again. So we're all down on the weeklies, okay? Now let's go to the dailies. And we'll start with the S&P since we're here. So here's your balance. It's all of today. But you can encompass the last 4 days because today's candle encompasses Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What's next? Well, we had an outside day down. If we take out today's low, automatically down. We're below the 50 and the 20 again. We have 158 million on the tape. Excellent volume, tremendous range. Still short-term players for my money's worth. You might have some hedge funds getting out, but this isn't long-term sticky money. It just isn't, not yet. Now let's go to Qs. And NQ. 112 million on the tape. They average 48 million. Okay? Below the 20, below the 50. Are things changing? Again, it remains to be seen. We don't know yet. Right? And then in IWM, same thing. 5-day balance. They have 95 million on the tape. They almost tripled their average of 35 million. 34 million, whatever it is. So, and that, again, the 200-day moving average, we'll see if that becomes a focal point sooner rather than later for them. They're $9 above theirs. SPY, ES, and NQ are much, much higher from theirs. So, again, a huge, huge reversal after putting the daily up to come back and have an outside day down on tremendous range, tremendous volume. Let's see where it takes us tomorrow, and more importantly, next Friday when we close, we'll see what kind of monthly balance we had. You know, I'll be honest with you. I told the room this morning when we gapped higher and we had all those things in favor of the bulls. I actually said to the room, I think we have better odds of taking out the all-time overnight highs than going and get the monthly lows of October in ES. Boy, was I wrong. They proved me wrong in 10 time frames. Again, I'm a day trader. I was basing that off of a couple of things I was basing it off of. So let's go back and I'll show you on the profile. It's easier. I know this is a long video, but again, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so give me a second if I can. Okay. When I did that, I was basing it off. We had the maintenance low. We had a couple of 3 lows that were very close together. And I was like, well, those are going to be great targets. But do we get those or do we get the overnight highs first that all 3 of us have for our all-time high? Well, we went from balance to up. We had the gap. You had everything going for it. I'm like, even if the bulls give some back today, I like the way we came off those lows. Boy, oh boy, was that wrong. As short-term money and short-term fickle traders, I told you, they would stab their grandmother in the back. They walk away from powerful longs to powerful shorts. So guess what? Wouldn't surprise me if they take this back. So thank God I'm a day trader and I don't try to swing trade or anything. Anyway, I hope this helps looking at the charts and everything. And I think today's a beautiful example that you should realize the market doesn't move on headlines or anything else. The market does what it wants to do when it wants to do it. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel. I hope you all survive today. Rest up, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.